Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast here on Boss Rush Games. I am your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the lore sandwich legend, Josh Finney.
The lore sandwich. I like that. We didn't even make it 30 seconds into this podcast before we're going to bring up sandwiches.
I mean, look, we both had a career moment this weekend, right?
We really did.
Okay.
We did. It was a special moment.
Yeah, so for those of you who watched Tower Casuals live last week, you know that we did a 1v1 last week with Josh, and we talked about Earl of Sandwich, and we tagged Earl of Sandwich in the post, and maybe a little pushing for me, but they retweeted and commented on our podcast, and it was a career highlight for both of us. That's all I have to say. At least it was for me.
Yeah, it really was. You know, we were not exaggerating. We had about a solid 10 to 15 minute discussion just on the semantics of the perfect sandwich order from Earl of Sandwich.
That's true.
And we came to the conclusion nothing is bad. You cannot order a bad sandwich from there. It's factual.
You can't.
And I had to rub some salt in the wound for Corey. I waited until I could see his reaction live to tell him that I actually had Earl of Sandwich on Saturday, that when my father, my stepsister, and her mom all went to Florida a couple of weeks ago. They called me from Orlando. They said, "Hey, we're getting ready to head to the airport. Is there anything you want us to pick you up?" And I was like, "Man, not really. Oh, wait. I'd really like a sandwich." Like, you just hear her in the background go, "A sandwich?" I was like, "Yes, but not just any sandwich. I want a Hawaiian barbecue sandwich from the Earl himself." And I wasn't quite sure if they made it. And I stopped by their house last weekend. Picked up some nice brisket my dad had cooked up. Picked up some beans, some fixins, and he's like, "Son, there's something in the freezer for you." And I open it up, and it's just like, it's like when Indiana Jones finds the Ark, and it's just like glowing. It's just this incredible moment as you pull that sandwich out. You're like, "Oh my god, yes!"
It's like that. It's like the cartoon moment with the angels singing, and then the little light just shines down. And
I mean, I'm pretty sure that there was a small prepubescent Catholic choir singing behind me at that point. I got the sandwich. I just kind of held it for a minute, guys. Took it out of the foil very carefully, popped it on a plate in the microwave. Boop, boop, boop. 2 minutes later.
You didn't just heat up the oven for like a minute?
I did not. I put it in the microwave. Corey, I was so impatient. I needed the Earl right then. Okay.
I needed the Earl in my mouth.
I did. I needed the Earl to be in my mouth, and it was a spiritual experience for me to have the Earl sandwich visit me in Texas. It was fantastic. I savored it on the way home. I spaced it out. Took a bite, put it down. Maybe another 10 minutes passes. I'm in traffic. Take a couple more bites. I finished it as I was approaching home, and it was just monumental moment, guys. Earl sandwich. Go give them all your business. Holler at them that they should like, share, and retweet this podcast. And they should
also, if they want to sponsor this podcast, they don't need to pay us in real money. They can just pay us in sandwiches. It'll be fine.
If they could just overnight some sandwiches in those refrigerated boxes to us, that would be acceptable.
Yeah, or a lifetime supply of just want a card with an infinite amount of money just to use there. I'd be like,
open an establishment in Ohio and in Texas, and I think we'd be okay.
Look, but don't. Here's the thing. I would love an Earl sandwich in Ohio, but don't put it in Cincinnati where it's 4 hours away. Okay, I need it in the northeast region. Okay, I'll drive an hour and a half to Earl sandwich. Okay, I'll make the 2-hour drive. I don't really feel like driving to Cincinnati for that. Maybe I would. I'm lying. I would totally would.
I mean, I would drive up to 6 hours for this sandwich.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe farther.
There's one in Chicago, which is 5 hours from me. So
there's one in Chicago?
Yeah.
I spent an entire week in Chicago and did not know that the Earl was within my vicinity. I'm ashamed.
You want to hear a story? You want to hear a story?
Sure.
My wife and I, when we went to New York the first time, I knew there were other Earl of Sandwiches, but it never dawned on me to that there would be one in New York City. And we turned down a street and we walked right past one, and I had to say, stop. And we got Earl of Sandwich.
I have never been more proud of you than I am in this moment.
Yes. So
not for this show, not for anything we collaborated on, not for figuring out sleeper stimulant. I'm proud of you for this moment, Corey.
I know it was
sandwiches.
It was a very proud moment. And then the most disappointing words I'll ever hear. The sandwich is all right. I was like, oh, gasp.
Nope. That's it. Deal breaker.
Yeah. So, I told her it was okay to be wrong, but not in this moment. So,
understandable.
It's okay. So, yeah, that was a career highlight. You think there's an Earl of Sandwich in the tower?
You know, I think Cade not only liked ramen, I think he was a sandwich patron as well. Zavala doesn't strike me as a sandwich guy. He strikes me as like kind of somebody who needs more like form. Like he would like a Subway. He wants it very like he just wants the same thing every single time he goes. He doesn't want to spice it up.
Yeah,
but
I totally see that. If you and even if you mess it up, he will make sure to go back and fix it, and it will be exactly the same.
I'm pretty sure that the Drifter and Cade were huge Earl Sandwich fans. I think they had the regulars, but they like to spice it up occasionally.
Yeah,
Ikora may be getting down in there. Eris definitely stops in every time she's in the tower.
I definitely see the Drifter. Like when it's Thanksgiving time, right? He gets the holiday sandwich special.
Oh, he absolutely gets the holiday sandwich special and doesn't understand why other people don't like it. He unironically gets it.
Yeah, and he'll get two just to shove it in people's faces.
Oh, well, absolutely. Cade's the guy who kind of plays fast and loose. Cade is the kind of man who I think would not only enjoy the Hawaiian barbecue, but he strikes me as the kind of guy who would probably get a patty melt if he went to a burger joint.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants it anyway. He doesn't matter how messy it is. It doesn't matter what's on it. He wants the business. That's what he wants.
Cade strikes me as a fellow who gets two sandwiches and then eats one half of one sandwich and then the other half of the other sandwich and then alternates until it's gone.
I mean, who among us has not? Among us has not done that?
That's fair. That's fair. To be fair, I have done that many of times. So I've gotten an original and I've gotten the BLT at the same time and I've alternated. And let me tell you, it's strange, but it's delicious. So
I respect it.
Yeah. So, but I guess that's the end of sandwich corner.
That's the end of Sandwich Casuals.
Yeah, Sandwich Casuals. Now, look, okay, so I was thinking about this, and we'll talk about it a little bit more off air, but you know that Disney project I've been brainstorming?
Yes.
There is going to be a podcast attached to that Disney project. We are going to do a whole episode on the top 10 Earl of sandwiches.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it has to be done.
Yep. And I hope you will guest on that episode, and that's
100%.
I mean, that's
I was made for this, Corey. I was made for it.
I know you were. So, just gonna throw that out there. Not Boss Rush related, but details incoming. So,
something I got to do.
Yeah. But anyways, Josh,
Corey,
you finally got Anarchy.
I finally got Anarchy. Guys, we're talking about, this has been a career week, okay? We got retweeted by the Earl of Sandwich. Knocked out multiple raids with some good friends. But seriously, I had probably the best weekend loot of my entire life. This was my loot run this weekend. I got, of course, my Shadow Strides I've been trying to get on multiple Crown of Sorrow runs. Finally got them to drop. They gave them to me 3 times in a row because I sat there and complained so much into the
They
mic.
heard you. Bungie watched this episode.
I think Luke Smith personally went to the Bungie offices and was like, give this man all the boots in the world because he won't shut up. He won't stop talking about these stupid boots that he wants. So I got the boots. I got the boots multiple times, guys. I'm really excited. I got Fallen Armaments out of the secret chest in Scourge of the Past, which you don't know. Fallen Armaments, you kill Fallen and you have a chance to draw, or you drop heavy if you kill him with your grenade. And I don't know about you, but I like to use a lot of heavy ammo in raids. And it's going to be a Fallen raid this fall, so hey-o, I can use that for a whole nother year. Really excited about that.
That's true.
I got my Summoner. I got my Summoner from Trials of Osiris with Zen Moment and Cerility on it. And then I got the Big Daddy. I got Anarchy to drop on my 12th run of the season of Scourge of the Past.
I'm so proud of you.
I should note that a lot of those runs were boss farms that Nerd Generalist and I were doing last week. You're both desperately trying to get this stupid gun so that we could just be done with this raid. Career moment, though. Seriously, I was like one drop away from being activated like the Winter Soldier, but in Destiny. I'm pretty sure that Luke is over there just like trying to figure out what incredible drop he can give me before reset to just sit there and start saying it like he's Zemo to Bucky Barnes. I wouldn't even be mad if my XO went on a rampage. It'd be so worth it at this point. But Anarchy got dropped. I think I completely deafened my fire team because 2 other people got it, but my scream overtook them. And I just started jumping around the room, both in real life and in game, screaming Anarchy, Anarchy, Anarchy repeatedly. I went on mute to scream some more, so much so that it woke Chelsea up a few minutes early for work. So I'm sorry for that, babe. But yeah, my cat looked at me terrified. He ran out of the room. I didn't see him the rest of the night. It was a beautiful moment. You just got a preview of like the next 4 exotic Engram segments that I'll be talking about because I'm so excited about all of these drops. But Anarchy, seriously, for those of you who don't know, I guess we'll just launch right into it. Those of you who don't know what Anarchy does, you shoot 2 points, you create a web, and it's an electrified web. You use it to kind of neutralize bosses, big enemies. You're not really using it for anything else. Anything that gets caught in it, though, it deals damage over time, and it allows you to switch to another weapon like AK, Mountaintop, or Recluse, deal a whole bunch of damage to them real quickly. It helps when people are running swords. You'll see most people who go in to try and solo dungeons, solo flawless, like Prophecy, for example, and Anarchy is the heavy that you're running there. You're not running even Xenophage, you're running this to trip the boss up, to neutralize him so he can't be hurling as many blights at you, and you're doing damage with your heavy, but you're also dumping your Mountaintop into him. It's a beautiful gun. I love it. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I've already demanded to be the Anarchy guy for the foreseeable future for any raid groups because I'm just so happy. It's just like when I got Divinity, I was like, I'll run Divinity forever. I don't care. Well, baby, I got Anarchy, and if we need an Anarchy, I'm running that sumbitch.
Nice.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you don't have it, I highly encourage you, go get it, even if you're not going to be one of the people who goes out in solos or flawless as something. It is very, 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 very helpful in match game nightfalls, and really any kind of dungeoning activity. It really does help, especially if you have 2 really solid primary and secondary weapons on you already, like something with Vorpal or, again, a Mountaintop, a Recluse, a Summoner, something like that. It's just, you got people going spin the win. It's great to use. It really is like Divinity, the definition of a team weapon to use. And for those keeping score at home, that means the only exotic that I am missing in the entire game is 1,000 voices. So the march to 1K starts now. Last Wish runs. I'll be trying to run Last Wish probably once a week until I get that gun. That is my focus for the rest of the season, since it is not on the infinite loot drops. I'm locked out after 1 try a week, and I'm going to get 1K. That is my new goal, is to get 1K by the end of the season.
You'll get it. We have, 3 months to get it?
3 months, 3 months, and a break will be taken at some point in that 3 months. So
yeah.
Corey, what was your favorite drop this week? It's not all about me. I'll sit here all night and gush about Anarchy.
Well, I didn't get anything cool like that. I did get Jade Rabbit.
Did you not have Jade?
What?
Did you not have Jade Rabbit?
I did not have Jade Rabbit.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's not really my favorite drop of the week. I got Jade Rabbit. I got Axiom War Rig. I got Two-Tailed Fox. That happened.
It's a weapon.
Yeah. Remember, everybody was like, "It's going to be the second coming of Gallahorn," and it just fizzled out.
No, never. I've never seen a single person use that gun.
No, I've never seen anybody use it
And they
either.
even
But
gave it to us. They gave it to everybody for free at the beginning of Shadowkeep, and nobody's used it.
I know. So I got that. I finished my Risk Runner quest just because I need space in my whatever. But I did start. I started my Hunter this week. I did the new light, the beginning new light quest, right? Like just it's literally the not the Destiny 1 first mission, but the mission it was supposed to be that they showed off in that very first gameplay reveal trailer where the spider tank kind of drops down in the middle and like you see all the other new guardians shooting at it and killing all his fallen and stuff, which was really cool to see. Like I had seen it, but then I was like, well, I kind of forgot about it, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I really wish that this was what Destiny 1's beginning mission was, and like you see all the fallen crawling around when you go in and he turns the lights on, and found my Kvastov, and I was like, yeah, this is happening. This
is what we were promised.
Whoa. So I ran a couple missions with my Hunter, and I got Celestial Nighthawk. So
Celestial Nighthawk is an absolute must-have for any hunter.
Yeah, so I was like, well, this isn't coming off ever. So that was probably the best drop I got this week. I also got traversive steps for my Warlock, which I remember when I was playing on PlayStation, I had those when I was running a Warlock, and it really helped with like what the rifts and stuff. So
yeah,
but that was kind of it. Nothing really exciting to talk about like you. I'm on the last step of the Xenophage quest.
Yes, we will absolutely be talking about how much you're going to fall in love with Xenophage next week's episode, definitely.
Yeah, I'm on the last step of a lot of exotic quests that I just need I just need people to help me do it. So
we're definitely going to knock out Xeno next week, or not next week, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the plan to knock out Xenophage.
Yeah, so that's
it'll go nice with that Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak Perfected.
I know. I'm quite excited. So I have a couple exotic quests that I need to run Leviathan for also, which is weird. So yeah, that's kind of it. I didn't really get anything amazing except for Celestial Nighthawk, but who runs a Hunter when you got a Titan? That's all I gotta say.
I love Celestial Nighthawk though. It's become my go-to for raids. I used to kind of just like scoff at it, like, I don't really like it. There's not a huge benefit to it. I'll just stay on my tether. But playing with a lot more hunter, instead of being the token hunter, which I always was in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
And for most of Destiny 2, frankly, until up until last fall, really, it's kind of been like, okay, I'll gladly run Celestial for you. Like the farther away the boss is, obviously, the harder it is for me to get a crit. Divinity helps a ton with that, but there's no better feeling than going into a Scourge of the Past run and popping like 850k on Insurrection Prime, or going into Eater and just seeing like 999 come up on the screen. It's an incredible feeling. We had an Eater of Worlds run this week. Myself, Johnny, Willow, Kate, and Nerd Generalist were all running it together, and all friends of the show. We were all running it together and got to the boss. I believe it was on our run. I think we failed it the first time we did. We got the damage, but we couldn't hit the crit spots on the actual boss, and we wiped, and we're like, oh yeah, hey, great first damage phase. We got him down to like 2/3 health, I think, on the first try, and then John's looking at damage. He's like, yeah, everybody saw this. Oh my god! He's like, Josh, stop, calm down, leave something for the rest of us. And I'm sitting there with like 2.3 mil or something, and at least half of that was Celestial Nighthawk. I had my Nighthawk back by the end because just so many people had popped supers and dropped bubbles and wells that the orbs were like all just gathering on me. It was incredible. There's no better feeling as a hunter than nailing that golden gun shot and just seeing the boss bar go boop.
Yeah.
You just see a solid chunk of it disappear. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen. I have enough friends that run hunters to know that Celestial Nighthawk is like the hunter helmet to wear. So
It's absolutely the. For me, it's the best PvE exotic. Outside of I think maybe Orpheus Rigs matches it just because of how many orbs it generates from the tether. But man, you just as far as boss DPS goes, you absolutely cannot beat multiple Celestial Nighthawks going off. We had it last night. I think 3 of us were running it. We all just popped it on Galarian at the same time, and no joke, like over a third of that health bar just instantaneously was gone.
yeah.
It's incredible. But if you start stacking that with and some we're going to talk about probably over the next couple weeks, start talking some mod builds. But Charged with Light, guys, do not be sleeping on High Energy Fire, which Charged with Light. High Energy Fire and Radiant Light together is a disgusting combo, and everybody should learn how to use that because your whole team, especially in the boss phase of a raid or a dungeon, will just be dealing even more damage to each other. It stacks with other buffs. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, but any other cool drops or?
No, I'm gonna save my other cool drops to talk about over the next few weeks in case I don't get any more cool drops. But finally got my boots. That also elicited a scream. I've been trying to get these stupid claw boots on my hunter.
Yeah, you talked about them for like 10 minutes last week.
Yeah, if you didn't tune in last week, this was my 6th run of this raid, I think, and I had never gotten the boots to drop, and I finally got the boots, and they gave them to me on like every encounter. And Luke Smith was just like, "Yeah, shut up, just give this guy his freaking boots." It's beautiful when you get drops like that, or you see your friends again. Like we had a homie get Teraba, and on my Anarchy run, like 3 of us got it at once, even though somebody already had it. It's one of those like you just run around screaming that you got it because even if your friends are the ones getting it and you're not, it's just like, man, you get satisfaction knowing somebody got something super rare or got something they've really been chasing, and they're genuine. There's no better feeling in this game. We said it a million times.
Yeah. I love getting like I love finding like the exotic engrams on the ground, even like when you're just grinding some of the bosses in the world to finish some quests and you just see an exotic engram. I gotta tell you though, it was pretty disappointing when the one engram was Telesto, and I was like, oh really? Yeah.
Telesto.
Gosh, that weapon haunts me from Destiny 1. Dude, there's a point where I would get those exotic engrams and you'd have to go back to the tower to decrypt them.
Mm-hmm.
I got 9 Telestos in a row one time.
Oh my God.
I was infuriated.
The duplicate protection was definitely not as good as it is now.
No, it was like, really? 9 Telestos. It was disappointing. So I guess that's what I get though when my friend puts like 1,000 hours into Destiny, and then I go run the first time I run the Prison of Elders, I get a Galahorn out of the chest. So I guess that's what I get. So
yeah, you deserve bad RNG after that, I think.
Yeah.
Just like every one of you who got Anarchy on your first run, you also deserve bad RNG forever. Some of us know how to get the Insurrection Prime's weak spots everywhere he's going to move, all of his crit spots, where the orbs spawn, where to dunk them. We know the map of that layout of that boss room better than we do how to get to the grocery store across town. Yeah. So, just saying, like I've definitely dreamt of the layout of that raid, and it's gonna haunt my dreams too for quite a while. That and the Galarian room. That's it. Like I'm gonna have nightmares about both of those.
Yeah. Well,
man.
Good times.
Very good times.
Do we? There wasn't really much news this week. I know you. I don't know if the patch notes went live or not yet, but is there any decent Destiny news to talk about, or you just want to go kind of into the raid report?
No, there really isn't a whole lot. There's a hotfix going live. By the time y'all listen to this, the hotfix will be live. Just a few, kind of like housekeeping things. There were some strikes that were inaccessible to certain people for whatever reasons. The biggest fixes definitely came from fixing the Festering Core Master Nightfall, which was listed as a 1080 Master Nightfall, but was giving you enemies at 750 power. that was disabled within like 3 or 4 hours of the exploit being figured out. And this led to a meme in the community of thanks Redeem, because Clan Redeem is the one who consistently figures this stuff out. And then the Contenders shell in the Leviathan raid, I believe, has been fixed also. Leviathan rewards of XP Glimmer and chances toward extra exotic Ingrams or Bright Ingrams are now on a weekly loadout. Weapons and armor are not affected by the weekly lockout and can be earned multiple times a week. Basically, there was a big glitch where people were going in and they were just spamming the dogs encounter and resetting their checkpoint and going in since it was the first encounter that week. And certain streamers were at it for like 10 or 11 hours and got something like 45 Bright Ingrams a piece and like 30 something exotic ones, 200 Umbral Ingrams, just like all sorts of crap was dropping from them. And it pretty much fundamentally broke the game's economy. So Bungie is apparently trying to avoid that happening again. The Contender Shell does give you an additional chance to earn Bright Ingrams or Year 1 exotics. I believe that perk has now been fixed to be on a weekly lockout again. I guess when they lifted the lockouts on the Leviathan, they accidentally lifted that as well. So, just some fun ones that got nerfed, but that's it. We really didn't have much news this week, though. It was a pretty quiet week after the big games Game Pass news the week before.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few weeks of huge news that I feel like taking a week off of news is probably all right. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to dive in. Next Tuesday, the 11th, starts the Solstice of Heroes. So your special Age of Triumph armor will be available to get. We have seen a leaked image of it. It looks really cool this year.
Armor looks so cool. I need it.
I actually care about it this year for the first time ever. I normally don't like how the armor looks, but it looks really, really cool.
I know. It looks so
excited
cool
for that. Less excited about some of the masterworking objectives for them, but we'll see. We'll dive into that once everything's actually confirmed.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that armor. This is the first time I think I've ever cared about it, honestly. Like, ever.
Yeah, I've never liked the look of it before. I've just kind of done it because I had to get my shirt or to get my seal.
Yeah.
So I can actually skip it this year if I want to, but I'm not going to because I really want my title and I really want my armor. So
yeah, I'm definitely going to try to grind out that Titan armor at least. I might try to do it on all three, honestly. It's
I do not have it in me to do all three. I barely get through one. If you do it on all three, just kudos to anybody out there who's done all three. One, you have way more free time than I do, and two, do you hate yourself?
Maybe. I probably won't try to do it on all three. I'm gonna at least do it on my Titan. I think though, for sure. So. For sure. I'm excited for it. I'd like to see if they do a stasis glow. Yeah.
Once we get to the end of the season.
Yeah. I bet they do. I bet they do. It's gonna be awesome. Raid report, Josh. I know. So I don't have anything to report on. I did mess around with a lot of the exotic quests that I'm finishing up, but some of them do require raids. But that's about all I have for my raid report. How about you, Josh?
I ran a bunch of raids this week. Just helping friends get through, helping people in our Discord get through. And outside of that, no, I really didn't do a whole lot. Just same old raids. Doing some absolutely ridiculous damage, not speed running, but blowing through the Leviathan and Eater of Worlds, both back to back in like under 2.5 hours was a highlight. Knocked out 2 Crown of Sorrow runs in the past week and a half. Definitely done with Crown of Sorrow. My raid report really though is the ungodly amount of boss farming I did on Scourge of the Past. I did probably 8 or 9 farms or runs through a farm to try and get Anarchy, and then lo and behold, it came from an actual legit run. So, no, don't try to take the Velveeta way out, kids. It doesn't always work for you. That's my raid report. It's just, I got Anarchy. I don't care. Nothing else matters in this game. I got Anarchy. I'm good. It's the exotic I've wanted for a very long time. The only other thing that I would have that would qualify for that is I got the participation trophy reward from Trials this weekend. Yeah, because I am abysmally bad at Trials. I lost my way to a summoner. Made somebody who was flawless very salty because I blew him up with Jotun when he thought he had the upper hand on me. And he may or may not have taken time out of the match to send me hate mail right then.
No,
so that's always a highlight for me, is when people are so salty that you kill them in trials and they're like, use a weapon that requires skill. I just want to kind of go back and go, no, question mark. I want to win.
Yeah.
If you're that upset about it, I mean, they all switched to snipers after that because they were pissed. But it was pretty amusing to me. I was looking forward to those teabags when he killed me. He made it his personal mission to hunt me down for the rest of the round.
Yeah, that's Mitch and I were talking about trials this weekend, and we were like, we would really like to try to do trials at some point just to do it. But we need a third is the thing. And, we were talking about Jesse would actually probably be the guy you take into trials if he would level up his character, if he cared enough about, because he's really good at competitive shooters. Of course, he doesn't really know the ins and outs of Destiny like we do, but he is very good at competitive shooters. And if we were to get a third, we were really trying to we should probably get him leveled up at some point. But, he's playing 100 other games, and I know he's really big into Call of Duty and, so, but yeah, I actually want to try trials at some point with someone who's not going to yell at me if I die instantly. So
come play with us. We all know that we're bad, and if we happen to get 3 wins, we happen to get 3 wins. But you get the participation trophy rewards these days, so at least come away with a roll.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. So
for sure.
All right. Well, why don't we head into our lore corner, my favorite part of the show?
The part where Corey props his feet up and just listens.
I love lore corner. Let me tell you, man. There was this the old Destiny show I used to listen to a lot until they just kind of ended. They didn't really give a last episode or anything. They just kind of ended. It was called Ghost Stories, and it was just a Destiny lore podcast. It was really good, and yeah, this is my favorite part of the show.
All right, well, Corey, you mentioned earlier how you want to get Xenophage this week, and how we're going to make a run on it tomorrow. So today's lore corner is really, really timely. We're going to talk about the Pit Heresy and Xenophage. I don't remember what order I said we were going to do the next few topics in last week, but I have a feeling I'm jumping a little bit ahead here. This is going to kind of go into our discussion on the Hive in general. So we're going to start off with the Pit of Heresy and Xenophage today. We're going to cover over the next few weeks the Orsinium Court, Sabathun, and Zebua Wrath. Kind of hoping this probably would have been the week to do the Orsinium Court and Sabathun, since it's a short week, but I was out of town for most of the week. So we're going to cover those. We're going to get to Eris, and then we're going to kind of work our way into anything else that's leading into Beyond Light. We just have a whole lot of Hive to cover from Shadowkeep. So the Pit of Heresy. Pit of Heresy is, of course, the second dungeon in the Destiny franchise after the Shattered Throne, which, if you recall, we talked about a couple of weeks ago. It centers around the Hidden Swarm on the moon. They are attempting to revive their champion, Zul'Amak. Zul'Amak was a sword-bearing champion of the Hive on the moon in the wake of Crota's death. Kind of became one of their leaders in a way on the moon, and eventually he was slain. He was killed, and some of the granddaughters of Oryx decided that they were going to try to revive him. And the ritual that they were committing goes, of course, against sword logic. Them and Hashladun, who you'll remember from the Scarlet Tower strike. We go kill her. She's the daughter of Oryx. We find out that she was trying to use the Pit of Heresy, and specifically Zul'Amak, to revive Oryx himself, to revive the Taken King. And they were able to do this if they cheated the sword logic to bring him back, because when the Guardians slew him on the Dreadnought, according to sword logic, the Guardians should have absorbed his power and taken his throne world for themselves. The Guardians declined to do that. So that may come back into play with the Destiny content vault. We may end up having to seize it for ourselves with the darkness eventually.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
just so like when we killed orcs, we were supposed to take the throne for ourselves, the throne world.
Yes. We were supposed
So
to take it Throne World. By the power of the sword logic, when you defeat somebody else, you absorb their power. You take their power for yourself.
right, so the Guardians declined, but
Yes.
if we have to go back and do it with the darkness, does that? I mean, to make sure the throne world doesn't to make sure Savathun doesn't take over the throne world. Do you think we have to take it to keep it from her?
I personally think that Savathun, because Savathun knows ways to infiltrate Oryx's throne world. She actually sends Kira to do that way back in the lore, like millennia ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sent Kira the Vexmind in there, and I'm actually kind of wondering who's in control of the throne world now. I do strongly suspect it's Savathun. I do think next fall we're going back to the Dreadnought, and either in a reprisal of King's Fall, like maybe he's been resurrected somehow, we have to kill him. I could see that happening. Like, oh, you have to beat the reprised King's Fall in order to access the raid where you actually take down Savathun for good. To use Oryx's power. I could see that now that we have the powers of darkness. Maybe we're like, oh, well, I'll think about taking that. But we know canonically our character, the young wolf, the hero of the Red War, whatever you want to call them, the Avenger of Cade 6, has declined to take that power. And according to the storyline, we should have. According to the sword logic, we should have. We rebuke it instead. So what Hashladun and the other Death Singers were trying to do was is literally heresy. They're kind of trying to do what Knockers did. They're trying necromancy in a way to try and bring back Oryx to fill that void, and they would be able to do that through a bastardization of the sword logic, since we never claimed his power for ourselves. That means that part of him still endures. And of course, there is the touch of malice still floating around out there. We know that Eris herself was the last one seen with it. So I have a very strong feeling that's going to come back into play over the next year as well.
Great.
Yes. But there's another exotic weapon that actually ties into the Pit of Heresy. Go ahead.
Can't wait for everybody to say people who can't raid with them if they don't have touch of mouth.
Oh my god. With how, what do you call it? Well of Radiance works these days. Well of Radiance with a Titan bubble. I could absolutely see that becoming the new you must have this in order to down raid bosses in one attempt. I really hope it doesn't get to that point because there's so many more options now for DPS than there used to be. Mm-hmm. But there's still like 3 or 4 that are really, really, really solid. I could see that being a thing. Like this next weapon that we're about to talk about. Xenophage has become one of those weapons. Xenophage is the exotic machine gun that we find within a secret quest that is tied to the Pit of Heresy and the moon. And it contains a guardian in it. So, yeah, bear with me on this one. This one's actually really cool. Eris Morn's old friend, the hunter Omar Aga, was part of Eris's doomed expedition to the moon to slay Crota. Eris is of course, the sole survivor of that. She watched her friends die. One of her friends, Vel, dies from being sworn by the thrall. Toland goes crazy, of course, following the Death Singer song, and it now wanders the Ascendant Plains. And Omar was personally, his death was personally watched by Eris, and it was excruciating. The Hive tortured him. Specifically a wizard, one of the wizards that we slay in the Crota's End raid, tortured him endlessly, experimented on him. They not only ripped his light out they literally fed his light to Hive soldiers and to the thrall to make them more powerful for Crota. They rip his soul out as well. And Eris thinks that he's dead. He's gone. Decades later, hundreds of years, I believe, have passed at this point. To the present day, Omar awakens, and through the Xenophage quest, we find out where he is. We go and we do the special room inside the Pit of Heresy. We recover an object, and we take it to Eris. And Eris takes him and puts him into an old machine gun, which we find out the Xenophage was actually Omar Aga's gun. kind of continuing a trend of us getting legendary weapons that have been wielded by other Guardians, such as the Mountaintop was Shax's weapon at the Battle of Twilight Gap. We've wielded, of course, Whisper the Worm, the Touch of Malice, the Black Spindle, all of which are tied to Hive Gods. Ray's Lighter was a model of a replica of Shax's sword. There's been plenty of instances in the past where we've done this. And so when she gives us the gun and we read the lore on there, this is kind of what I want to focus on today, is the lore card there. It's all from Omar's perspective. It's basically his thoughts in his mind. He's a bug. They've literally turned him into a bug. They didn't kill him. He's still conscious as a bug living inside your gun, which is just, it's insane. If you go back and look at some of the images from PAX last year, we saw this gun on display and you could see the bug in it. We're like, what the hell is this? This is going to be the coolest thing we've ever seen in this game. He goes, I knew it. Knew I'd be back one day. Only this time I was something else. Something not human. Not by choice, of course. Those damn Hive. They weren't just trying to kill me. They were using me to get my light, to drain it from my soul for their sick experiments. But the idiots screwed up. They didn't just drain my light. They took the whole lot, the entire thing, soul and all. I'm still me, just not the me I knew. The one with 2 arms and 2 legs. I'm something smaller now. But honestly, it's no bother. The fire inside me, it came too. And it rages now more than ever before. The fools have no clue what they've done, no idea the price they'll pay. I will have my vengeance in this life and not the next.
Ooh.
Yeah, when Eris hands us the gun, she basically admonishes us to use Omar's weapon to desecrate the Hive with it. And the result is the best, arguably the best DPS weapon in the entire game right now. Xenophage is a really cool weapon. We'll definitely have a full-on discussion once we get Corey Xenophage. But I think it definitely has one, outside of Touch of Malice and Whisper, it probably has the coolest story behind an exotic, to me at least. Just how it ties into the lore, and it actually ties into the storyline. Like, a lot of these exotics are just like, oh, these are kind of cool weapons. But I like ones like this with these interesting quests. Like Divinity is another one of those. Like, Divinity is literally a Vex weapon that we take for ourselves. Whisper the Worm is Zol's soul, but in a gun. Like, that's why we hear Zol talking in that mission. Is he basically abandons Nokris for us. He recognizes that we are worthy of wielding the power of a god. So instead of being doomed to die forever, he's like, nope, screw it. I'm throwing in my lot with the Guardian. I'm going to serve this guy now. Just like the Touch of Malice allowed Oryx's spirit to technically endure. So I think it's so fascinating when we do missions like this that tie into the overall storyline and aren't just like, oh, that was a cool drop. Like, there's actually a reason, the reason, the lore behind Bastion that we got back in Season of the Dawn. We were wandering the corridors of time and come across a funeral, come across our grave. And that's how we get the gun. We get the gun from our grave in the future. And Saint 14 basically saying, he was laid to rest with, the Guardian was laid to rest with their favorite gun, but you can't change something when somebody's dead. And then he remembers how we saved him in the past, and he goes, but maybe something can still change. Basically talking to us in the past. He's talking to us through time, almost like he can sense that we're there. And I think weapons like that ultimately the story's going to progress no matter what, but kind of in a true role-playing game sense, almost alter your fate, almost alter your Guardian's storyline. We have so many hands in saving people or enduring things that probably we shouldn't be playing with, like the Whisper, the Touch of Malice. And then there's this. We're helping a Guardian who is still alive, just kind of as a cockroach, and mowing down enemies with it. And it's absurdly powerful. It's beautiful. And that's awesome. This week's Lore Corner.
Love it. I love it. I like how, his rage is just pretty much just mowing people down as this giant gun.
And he's a hunter. He's not a Titan. He's not a Warlock. He is a hunter. The hunters are out here representing, even though we get no respect. We're out here representing.
I mean, look, hunters might not like Titans. Titans might not like hunters. But I think we can both agree that the Warlocks are the worst.
Disagree.
Oh man, I'm just saying.
I like Space Wizards better. Just saying.
Just their little Emperor Palpatine hands don't scare me. Okay, I'll just jump. I'll just jump out of the way.
All you have to do is just go Superman on them.
Yeah, it's yeah. But look, I think I can't wait to get Xenophage, because like the thing is I've already run the quest. I just didn't have the quest when I ran it, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. So hope I can stay alive better this time, because I think I will, though, now that I know what I'm doing. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So is there anything else we need to hit on before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it. Remember, Iron Banner is this week, guys. Go visit Saladin in the tower. Get your powerful rewards from him. Turn in your tokens and get some really, really good high-rolled statted armor, and have a chance at the forward path, which is probably my favorite primary of the season.
That was one that was during year 1, right?
Yes, forward path is a weapon that has been brought back with a new set of random rolled perks.
Ooh.
Has been this season just added to the Iron Banner pool. It is you get one of that and one of the sidearm from finishing the Iron Banner quest this season. And once you finish that, it will be added to your loot pool. I would advise waiting to turn in your tokens until after you finish that quest. You will get one drop from it. I did not like my drop, and I ended up turning in like 500 tokens to get a better roll. So
nice.
You also can get powerful mods. You can get pinnacle mods from Saladin from turning in tokens to him.
Ooh.
So things that only have a chance to drop in your powerful drops each week, your powerful vendor challenges, they can now drop from, well, they've always been able to drop from Iron Banner, but they seem to be dropping with more frequency when you do that or you finish matches. So I personally have picked up a ton of bounties. Yeah, remember, it is light enabled, everybody. You will be kind of screwed if you're not a higher level, but I'd say, a lot of it ultimately comes down to skill. Just please don't wander in there if you're like 900.
Yeah,
go in at like 1040 or higher.
Yeah, because isn't there like a small kind of like a light forgiveness thing if you go into a little bit of a lower light level?
I think so. And it all depends on Saladin's bounties too. Like if you're going in there and it's like, defeat enemies with a higher power, or defeat enemies and enemies that are a higher power level than you count as more. That's always really satisfying to go in and do. Yeah. But it's also really hard to do. So get some friends, run in there. Iron Bananas is back this week. And of course,
I love Saladin. I have a Saladin figure up here. I don't know if you can see it.
There is Lord Salad Man himself.
Yes. So I had to tip my monitor up. There we go. All right. So we're going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for watching Tower Casuals. Remember, you can watch it live on twitch.tv/BossRushGames live every Monday night, or hear it on your podcast service of choice and YouTube on Thursday mornings. You can hear a Lore Corner at the end of every episode. I am in the process of breaking them out. I'm sorry, guys. I've been not going to lie, I've been a little lazy on the editing parts of some stuff lately. So they're coming, I promise. I know people want to hear more of the lore. I hear you. So, but anyways, check out all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Josh, where can we find you?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at Josh_Finn. That's Finn with 2 N's. And come engage with me for some conversation. We'll have some sandwich talk. We'll talk about Spider-Man and the Avengers. And of course, wonder aloud with everybody else in the world, when on earth am I going to find out how much I'm paying for this plastic box this fall?
It's fair. I mean, look, that PlayStation event is Thursday, and they said there's no PlayStation 5 hardware talk. So
that terrified me. I'm like, well, yeah, we very well may not get these consoles this year, and they're just too afraid to say it.
Yeah, no, look, here's the thing. It's not because of Corona we're going to get it. It's because nobody wants to say the price first. And they're just going to delay them until somebody says the price. But there was a thing where somebody said that the Xbox Series X pre-orders are going to go live soon or something. So I don't
Yeah,
know where
we
I
know
saw
that
that.
Microsoft has an event this month, which has been kind of jokingly referred to by some people as Xboxing Day,
Hmm.
in which they're supposed to reveal Lockhart, the final launch name for Project X Cloud, talk about what devices it'll come to right off the bat. And presumably they've got, because they said they had more from the rest of their studios to announce this year. So
Hmm.
I would expect to hear maybe one or two small announcements, see some more up-res games, really show us the difference between Xbox One to the Series S to Series X, kind of show us the difference across those platforms and whatnot. We'll see what else comes, but just give me a price. Let me know how much I have to put away.
I know. So
I need 60 frames, Destiny.
right. You can find me at I am Corey HC on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me streaming here on Boss Rush Games Live sometimes. So you can like, subscribe, follow, rate, and review wherever you consume our content. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye, Guardians.